All right, from 5 News, I'm meteorologist Stephen Elmore. Unfortunately, this evening we have some of those strong to severe thunderstorms. Yesterday, this morning, we were talking about, hey, there's a chance that we could be dealing with some of those strong to severe thunderstorms. But along with following through that process, we said, as those thunderstorms work out of Missouri, there is a chance that they're going to start to weaken. So far, we've seen signs of that, but also we're still seeing some severe weather out there this evening. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Parts of Carroll County issued for a severe thunderstorm warning this evening. That includes parts of Oak Grove, Green Forest, and Berryville. And that's for those winds, 60 up to 70 mile per hour wind gusts at some times. But that's the real main concern out of this. So here's that thunderstorm warning, only parts of Carroll County. So you're joining us in the rest of Northwest Arkansas, across the River Valley. It's pretty quiet out there. If anything, we have that heat advisory across the River Valley out there this evening. So it is still very hot and steamy out there for us. That's that heat that we've seen grow for today. Those heat index values currently well into the triple digits. So now we've tracked this line of thunderstorms. We've been following it since it's been moving out of southern Missouri and now crossing over just over the state line that we share with Missouri. So parts of Carroll County, parts of Benton County, just now starting to see some of that very heavy rainfall and some strong thunderstorms with it. You saw that push alert that we sent out. I wanted to title it Strong to Severe Thunderstorms because, again, the severe thunderstorms that we have right now, just for parts of Carroll County, if you're joining us there in Benton County, just north of Bentonville, traveling across parts of I-49 right now, those storms below the severe limits, but I tell you what, they are pretty strong thunderstorms at that. Really, the main concern here is now that these thunderstorms are starting to separate just a bit, this is where those really strong thunderstorms are, just moving south of Branson now. That's where you could find some damaging winds. Parts of northern Arkansas already have that severe thunderstorm warning issued. What we have now is that outflow that can also produce some severe weather if these thunderstorms that are moving into Benton and Carroll County right now can start to reorganize, start to tap into some of that energy. And I tell you what, there is plenty of it out there this evening. Of course, when it's hot and muggy like this, we get some thunderstorms to fire up, and they have a lot of energy to tap into. Again, most of Northwest Arkansas not included in parts of that severe thunderstorm warning right now, just parts of Benton County. That's where we're going to take a look at the strongest winds. Parts of Carroll County. Parts of Benton County, though, not severe right now. Really, again, the main headline is going to be those winds along that leading edge or embedded in those thunderstorms as well. So let's take a closer look here. You can see why that severe thunderstorm warning was issued parts of Oak Grove and Green Forest, because you start to see some of those brighter colors. So if you sample this here, we click into parts of Benton County, or Carroll County, excuse me, and what you're going to see is those wind speeds are pretty high out there right now. Oak Grove, Green Forest down the line, eventually Osage, you're going to find those winds around 60, maybe even a little bit higher miles per hour. That's where we're focusing right now with that severe thunderstorm warning. Tell you what, if you're out on the lake out there, Beaver Lake, you're out visiting Eureka Springs out there this evening, some nasty storms out there right now, but the severe part looking towards the eastern part of the county, really focusing on that Oak Grove area. I'm going to zoom in very close here to that Oak Grove community because I know we got some of those viewers out there in Carroll County, and we're going to get super hyper focused on that area, but that's where the nasty part of this line of thunderstorms is right now. So bear with me if you're not there in Carroll County right now, but that's where I want to get that attention to, is those folks who are joining us there in parts of extreme northeast Carroll County. So let's get super close here. Yeah, Berryville, Blue Eye, and Green Forest, you're in that general area, and that's where you're going to find some of these winds ahead of that line of thunderstorms. That could be anywhere between, let's say, 50, 60, 70 miles per hour. We'll go ahead and sample some of these winds just again. I know I just showed you some of these, but you start to see some of these brighter colors here, and that threshold for that severe thunderstorm warning is right at about 58 miles per hour. So it's just reaching the limits for that severe thunderstorm warning. That's why I think most of us are, they're playing, the National Weather Service is playing this kind of where the strongest winds are, because it's just on the border between a special weather statement, which is just below the severe limits, and crossing over to that severe limits. So you live in Berryville right now, of course, want to try to get inside. You're already seeing those nasty storms right now. Green Forest, if it's not there right now, sometimes this data lags just a little bit behind. So if it's not there right right now, it's going to be on your doorstep here in just the next few minutes. So go ahead and get inside, try to get away from windows. Usually hear us say that lingo when we're talking about a tornado, and that's not the case right now. But with winds these strong, they can start to pick up some debris as well if it's in your backyard, or even knock over some small limbs, some trees sometimes. So again, you're in eastern Carroll County out there this evening. Best idea is at least wait this thing out inside, away from windows, at least over the next hour or so. And speaking about what's to come in the future, I know we're dealing with a lot of folks here joining us on this weekend where it's like, what is going on out there right now? Want to know if your evening plans are going to be canceled. So let's go ahead and reset here, go across northwest Arkansas, and we're looking at that storm wind right now, but I'm going to go ahead and change it back over to just the reflectivity, and this is showing you where the rainfall is right now. Again, the hope is, and I'll show you here in a minute from the Storm Prediction Center, that level 2 out of 5 slight risk is just painted across extreme parts of Benton, Carroll, Washington, and Madison County. The rest of northwest Arkansas and into the River Valley is only that level 1 marginal risk. What does that mean for you? Well, that's giving us some signs that, hey, maybe we could start to see some weakening. And that's the overall goal with this. It was the goal with this before this warning got issued, is that maybe this line of thunderstorms wouldn't be able to tap into that energy we just talked about, and they would start to weaken, and we'd just be dealing with some heavy rainfall, maybe some strong wind gusts here and there, but not crossing over the severe limit. Unfortunately, that's the case that we have right now in eastern Carroll County, is those stronger winds that we just sampled. Northeastern Carroll County is where we're going to find those strongest winds. Go ahead and that Berryville community, Green Forest community, heads up, dealing with some of those severe winds right now. What I'm going to talk about now, though, and we'll make sure to keep checking back in with our folks there in Carroll County, is Benton County right now. Northern Benton County definitely seeing some heavy rainfall, but also some strong winds out there. And the difference between strong and severe winds is going to be that 50-mile-per-hour threshold, 58-mile-per-hour threshold. So what I'm going to show you here in a second is where are those strong winds at right now, just in case you're out and about out there this evening. So let's go ahead and zoom into Benton County. Again, this is not where that severe thunderstorm warning is, but special weather statement is out for it. And those winds right now there in Pea Ridge, Bella Vista, eventually in the Gravette area, that's where we could interrupt some plans out there. So quick heads up, kind of break down what you're seeing here, is we're in this difficult area in Benton and Carroll County where we're fighting between radar sites, between the radar site there in Fort Smith and the radar site there in Springfield. This is a looking from the radar in Springfield. Unfortunately, it's a far look at it, but it gives us a good idea sometimes there in Benton and Carroll County of where those winds are strongest at. And I tell you what, I think we're about to find some pretty strong winds out there that maybe gives us the idea that we could start to see a potential another severe thunderstorm warning. I tell you what, I don't believe that 76-mile-per-hour wind reading there in Gravette, so I'm going to go ahead and take that off the screen. Don't want to give you the wrong idea, maybe just some bad data there. Hopefully we're not starting to see up to winds 70 miles per hour. I tell you what, when we were tracking this thing in parts of the Springfield, Missouri area, it was producing winds up to around 70, 80 miles per hour. So let's go just south of Pea Ridge here, and what you find is I think those winds more than likely associated with those thunderstorms right now, anywhere between 30 up to 45 miles per hour. Tell you what, the National Weather Service out of Tulsa, some of the best in the country when it comes to those meteorologists. If they start to see signs that we're getting those severe winds when it comes to damaging winds, they are not going to hesitate whatsoever and go ahead and issue that warning. So if you don't see that warning there right now, at least the data they're getting from this line of thunderstorms, not crossing over that threshold. That's a good news for us. What's the bad news is that this is ruining somebody's plans out there for this Sunday evening, just after 6 p.m. now. Some at least strong winds, some heavy rainfall, and some frequent lightning as well. We're taking a look out at some cameras off to the side here just to see what's going on there, and you can kind of see those clouds very dark there from our Holiday Inn camera in Springdale. Jack Link's camera there in Bentonville, of course, on top of the roof here in Johnson, starting to see those dark clouds as well. What I want to do here now, though, again, we mentioned the difference between the Springfield radar site and the Fort Smith radar site, and you just saw that color change there. That's pulling new data in now from Fort Smith. And now let's go ahead and resample those winds. I'll sample it right there in Rogers. Let's see here if it works for me. Sample it there in between Gravette and Bentonville. You're going to see some negatives here. Don't worry about that. That just means we're going away from the radar side. And again, 20 up to 30 miles per hour is the reading there from Fort Smith. So I think let's just call it a good number, around 35 to 40 mile per hour winds, well below that threshold for severe thunderstorm warning, but it is still very gusty out there. Do me that favor and go ahead and try to get inside if you can. If you're there in Benton County, at least some heavy rainfall. You don't want to be caught out that anyways. I know sometimes when we get these scary looking clouds, you want to take that cell phone and go outside and take a picture of it and send it in to us. We know what they look like. You don't need to do that out there this evening. Just go ahead and go inside, turn on your favorite show, watch the live stream, and we'll ride through these storms together. As of now, again, that severe thunderstorm warning not for Benton County. What we're focusing on is that severe thunderstorm warning that is in parts of Carroll County. So I'm going to go ahead and reset things here. I don't want to focus too much on those folks who aren't in that severe zone right now. Again, really, the severe thunderstorm warning that we're focusing on in Carroll County is associated with those thunderstorms that are well off towards the northeast and still in Missouri. That's where the severe winds are right now. We're just getting clipped here in eastern Carroll County with those strong winds. I don't like that sign just north of Berryville. You see those bright colors there, almost that white color, and that's telling us on our end that there are some very strong winds associated with that cell that's just north of Berryville. We're sampling these winds just to give us a rough idea of what they're like, around 60 up to 65 mile per hour winds. That is severe, that is damaging, unfortunately. You're in Berryville right now. It's time to get away from those windows. My fear with that is, well, there's no rotation that we're looking at, is that's when debris, trash cans, whatever in the trash cans, tree limbs, whatever it may be, that's when they can get picked up, blown into your window, on top of your roof. So I know it's loud right now. I know it sounds scary out there if you're in Berryville. Just go ahead and get into that most interior part of your room, away from those windows, and you should be fine for the most part, even though probably what you're hearing outside sounds a lot worse than what it actually is. Good news is, as this line of thunderstorms has tracked through southern Missouri, southwestern Missouri, we haven't had any tornado warnings. The tornado threat is very, very low out there this evening. Really, the main concern for us going into this was going to be the chances for some severe winds, and unfortunately, that's what we're seeing play out there this evening. That severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, is going to go out until 6:45. Time right now is 6:08, so we still got a while before this warning is going to be let to expire. Get really close here, and I know we're going to run into some communities here that are dealing with these winds already. Just giving you that heads up. Anywhere between Green Forest and Berryville along Highway 62, that's where those damaging winds are right now. Now down the line is where we could find Connor, Middleton, Osage, Carrollton, Coyne. That's where we could see those winds moving further down the line here. Let's say the next half hour to an hour or so, you're going to be dealing with the potential, at least, of some of those severe winds as well. Let's go a little bit further out towards the west. I know I'm leaving that severe thunderstorm warning once again, but you probably know where I'm heading here as you get into parts of where Beaver Lake is, and that's where you could run into a mess right now if you are out on the water out there this Sunday evening. Some very heavy rainfall between Beaver and Eureka Springs there. Of course, we're starting to hear the wind pick up here at the station as well. So let's reset things here. I know I'm starting to move things, pick up things here a lot. Let's see here. Don't want that. That shows you tomorrow. So resetting things here. You're joining us across the river valley, or say what's going on. Well, not much right now across the river valley. I tell you what, it's hot. It is uncomfortable out there right now. You could see some of this rain, some of these thunderstorms a little bit later on this evening, let's say 8, 9, 10 o'clock. But the hope is by then they're going to be well below the severe limits. The real hope, is at least what I'm hoping, is that they will start to fizzle out and maybe you don't even see the rain. Can't completely rule that out, but that's where we're looking right now. If you're joining us anywhere across the river valley, this is just across extreme parts of northwest Arkansas. Getting some of that heavier rainfall coming down there near Clifty in northern Madison County, along that leading edge where you could find some of those stronger winds as well. But you can see that bowing shape that we're starting to see stretching from, let's say, just outside of Delaware County, and then you follow that bow shape through Rochester Rogers and Bentonville, all the way up through Carroll County. And along that leading edge is where you're going to find those damaging winds. You join us every time on these live streams. Of course, you know that already. When we talk about that bowing shape, that is a classic severe weather breakdown for us. That tells us, hey, there's some really strong winds out there right now. And unfortunately, we're dealing with that severe thunderstorm warning. I'm going to go ahead and pull up some of these cameras that I've got off screen here because, man, I tell you what, there is some weird looking clouds out there. Not seeing any lowering or any signs of rotation for those who hear me say that right now. But let's take a look there in Fayetteville. Dark clouds out there right now. These are the clouds that when my family is in town or they're in town or I'm visiting back home, they see these clouds and say, Steven, it's probably about to rain, right? Well, yeah, it's a good guess. Some scary looking clouds there out across Fayetteville. Of course, those storms just aren't there yet, but this is what's coming down the line. At least some heavy rainfall, if not some of those stronger winds. If you're out there this evening, you have those dinner plans between, let's say, 6, 7, 8 o'clock there in Fayetteville, more than likely we could be dealing with some of those scattered showers at the minimum. The hope is that we still don't have that severe thunderstorm warning. Let's take a look there in Fort Smith. Obviously, beautiful out there right now. A little bit extra cloud coverage, but sunshine still coming up. Let's see there in Rogers. Rogers right now. You see that heavy rainfall. You see the wind whipping around as well. Best indication of that. I'll give you an inside look of what we look at as we focus on the trees. If you're one of those people that when storms happen, you like to click around RDOT and look at those cameras if they're still up. Sometimes they go down during these severe thunderstorms. But we focus on the trees. You can see kind of where those winds are strongest at. I'm actually going to move over here. Take a look. This is going to be, I believe, just off in the Mercy parking lot. Those trees are. Down in this bottom corner here, you take a look at those. Those are starting to whip around right now. Obviously, traffic looking somewhat smooth as of right now across 49 there in Rogers, but it still wouldn't be very fun to drive through out there this evening. So not severe winds, but definitely some strong winds out there right now. And you're out there this evening just trying to get home before we start the week on Monday, and this is not what we want to be dealing with right now. So we take it back to radar here, at least show you that we got some of those, that line of thunderstorms moving into Benton and Carroll County right now. Unfortunately, if you're waiting on that 5:30 newscast, sorry about it. Golf just wrapped up there, so we missed that slot for that newscast. But we're here on the live streaming platforms to go ahead and give you that update on where those thunderstorms are right now. And things are moving a little bit slow over here, trying to get that radar site back up. In the meantime, we're taking a look here at Rogers. Of course, you can join us later on tonight at 10, and we'll have that update for you because, again, thunderstorms will be possible for tomorrow as well. Tomorrow's timeline mainly looking at anywhere between, let's say, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. And that's where we could find some of those thunderstorms as well for our Monday. That's not good news for us right here. Trevor, are you still back there if you can get my IFB? Do me a favor. Got some trouble over here with Max 1, so let's go ahead and pop up Max 2. I'm going to go ahead and work on things over there. Folks joining us at home, sorry about that. Dealing with some computer issues for Max 1. What that is basically just our how we get all our weather information, of course, radar site, everything like that. And it's dealing with some issues right now. All right, you can go ahead and pull that up for me, Trevor. Okay. All right, thank you, sir. Trevor is one of our directors here, and of course, working the weekend evenings with me for the past several years. He has dealt with a lot of those severe thunderstorms as well with me along the years. So let's go ahead and get our backup computer here set up here and focus on these thunderstorms that are just now really focused on Benton and Carroll County, but northern Madison County, Washington County down the line. That's what we're going to be dealing with as well. All right, so severe thunderstorm warning. You're just now joining us, parts of eastern Carroll County. That's where we're going to find some of those stronger winds. And again, bear with me. I'm dealing with the backup computer right now, so I'm not able to directly get in front of it. So you're going to probably see this image here for a while. Eastern Carroll County, we just sampled those winds not too long ago in the Berryville area. Green Forest, more than likely down the line now, or just right on top of you now, is where you're dealing with those winds, 60 up to 65 miles per hour. That's why you see that yellow shading there when it comes to that severe thunderstorm warning that we have out there right now. But also, we're dealing with at least some heavy rainfall and some weaker thunderstorms. We don't like to use the word weak because it could still, it's not weak to somebody out there, but they're not severe thunderstorms. Just strong thunderstorms moving through parts of Bentonville, Rogers, Springdale area down the line, and just into northern Madison County, that Clifty area. Start to see that bowing section once again. More than likely, I imagine we're dealing with at least some of those stronger winds out there right now, but not to the severe limit. Again, we sampled those winds not too long ago, and right around, let's say 30, 40, maybe up to 50 miles per hour is what you could find when it comes to those winds. So I know it's not, you say, well, what's the difference, Stephen? Those sound pretty severe to me. Well, that severe thunderstorm warning threshold is right around 58 miles per hour. So not crossing over that threshold just yet. Of course, if you're joining us on our live streaming platforms this evening, thank you for trusting us to get you through these thunderstorms. More than likely, I imagine, if I were to poll who's joining us out there this evening, probably a lot of folks there in Carroll County, because that's the only reason we're doing this live stream right now, is because we want to make sure those folks have that good heads up. You're out there on Beaver Lake. It's not fun out there right now. It's not severe thunderstorms, but you don't know the difference right now because your lake day is probably done for the weekend. Pick it up next weekend for 4th of July. All right, Trevor, good news. I've got Max 1 back up and working, so give it a second here, and then I'm going to have you switch on back to Max 1. Give it another second here. It might not like me still. All right, good news is, Trevor, let's go ahead and pop that back up Max 1 for me. Thank you, Trevor. All right, so let's do something we haven't done here in a minute and sample these winds. You've joined us the whole live stream. Again, we mentioned we're fighting between radar sites here between Springfield, Missouri, and the Fort Smith radar. So let's start with the Springfield radar, what it's saying, and let's compare it to what we see compared to the Fort Smith radar. Of course, that line of thunderstorms a little bit broken up right now. Of course, the stronger end of those thunderstorms is going to be out towards the east, just outside of our viewing area, but we're starting to sample these winds there in eastern Carroll County, and you find 40, 45 miles per hour there in northern Madison County. I tell you what, it's getting pretty close to that severe limits. I don't know if we'll hit that threshold for severe thunderstorm warning, but it's getting pretty close there. You sample some of these winds there in Benton County, not too impressive out there right now. That's some good news. Of course, like I just mentioned, that is looking very far away from Springfield, Missouri. So let's go ahead and move the screen just a little bit here. And there you see the change over to the Fort Smith radar. And let's go ahead and click around here and sample some of these winds. 28, they're just on the east side of Rogers. You sample there. And let's see here. Well, that's some good news. You see that blinking there on that severe thunderstorm warning from Carroll County, downgrading that wind from 70 to 60. So that's some good news for us. All right, let's pick back up here on sweeping radar, and you can kind of see what I'm seeing here is that line that we've been saying, hey, we're hoping and this is going to weaken. It's starting to break up a little bit. I wouldn't call it completely over with just yet, but at least the good news is you're following these trends so far is that we haven't got that warning across Benton, Washington, Madison County. So if the National Weather Service is saying, hey, it's not the warning just yet, hopefully as it continues to push off towards the south, it doesn't tap into that energy and we never get to that point where that warning. We're going to hang on here for about another 25 minutes or so, as long as the severe thunderstorm warning is there in Carroll County, unless they cancel it early, just to give those folks a heads up. You're in Bentonville, though, Rogers, Springdale, Fayetteville, not too bad out there right now. Huntsville, not too bad out there right now. But again, down the line, at least some heavy rainfall, some strong winds. That severe thunderstorm warning goes out until 6:45 there in Carroll County. And now we're getting closer towards that Carrollton area, that Osage area. Definitely Green Forest has been dealing with that heavy rainfall for the past probably the past 45 minutes or so now. And we go in here and you sample some of these winds, and it's right around that severe threshold. You go south of Coyne here. Let's go near Carrollton as well. And what you see is about a range between, let's say, 30 up to 50 miles per hour, 50 miles per hour being the worst. I'll tell you what, that's dropping below severe limits. That's what I like to see out there right now. And so maybe we'll have to follow the trends from the National Weather Service, our chat room with them, to see if they're talking about maybe canceling this warning just a little bit early. But going into this, what they said is, hey, more than likely we are going to see some type of weakening, just not there just yet. So as it crossed over into Carroll County, eventually we got that warning. So you see that radar site change there. We are right on the edge between Springfield and Fort Smith there. 43 miles per hour there just south of Coyne. Carrollton at 31 miles per hour. You work just a little bit south though, let's say between Osage and Carrollton, 50 miles per hour there. 47 miles per hour just out towards the north, just northwest of 412. You live there around that curve with Osage, around 50 miles per hour. And then in between 412 and 62, 30, 40 mile per hour winds right now. Of course, associated with some very heavy rainfall out there this evening. And that's what prompted that severe thunderstorm warning. I can tell you what, it's not a part of our viewing area, but you look just out towards the east, our friends there in Harrison. Of course, that's where that severe thunderstorm warning has been. That's where the most severe winds have been as well for a while now. So again, not including in our viewing area, our friends from THV 11 more than likely handling this severe thunderstorm warning. But that's where you find the most damaging winds along 412 leading into Harrison. So not going to spend too much time on that, of course. That's not a part of the 5 News viewing area, but what is in part of the 5 News viewing area is at Carroll County. So that's why we're joining us here this evening. Of course, with these live streams, you hear a lot of repeat because we never know if people are watching all the way through or they're just joining in for a quick update. So to give you that update, I'll reset things here DMA wide. Let me first turn it back on to rain mode and we'll show you area wide. Got a cluster, let's say, of thunderstorms, not necessarily a line. You can still kind of make out a Boeing shape there between Benton County, Madison County, and Carroll County, but it's starting to look a little bit more broken up now. Across the river valley, it is a beautiful Sunday evening out there. Hot, muggy, uncomfortable. Heat advisory just ended, or actually it's still got 30 more minutes. Heat advisory goes out for LaFleur, I believe Sequoia, Crawford, Sebastian, maybe Franklin County as well. Haven't looked at that here in a minute. That goes on until 7 p.m. because we had those heat index values, 105 to 108. Not comfortable out there either. You could probably deal with some of these scattered showers out there right now because it may be a little bit cooler. I tell you what, sometimes if you're in Fayetteville right now, or if, let's say, Winslow area, Goshen area, Washington County is who I'm talking about, of course, we get these quick downpours in Benton County, and if they start to fizzle out, they start to collapse, we could get some stronger winds there at the surface blowing your direction. And sure, sometimes we can see some severe winds with that, but it might cool things down just a little bit. Of course, with the rainfall that we have right now, you check in back with us at 10 o'clock this evening, you're going to notice the temperature difference across northwest Arkansas than the River Valley because of the rainfall that we're getting. So while it is not fun out there right now, especially there in Carroll County, this rain is going to make our Sunday evening a little bit more comfortable. And the good news is, and I say good news, because anytime in June and early July that we can get some rainfall, out there, that is a really good thing for us. More rain chances for a Monday as well, and that once again is going to come with the chances for some severe weather as well. Let's go ahead and talk about that real quick, just because we're on our live streaming platforms and we have a little bit extra time. So, of course, as soon as we talk about tomorrow, we're going to come back and talk about that severe thunderstorm warning that continues there in eastern Carroll County. So what I'm pulling up here now is Futurecast, and this shows you Monday. So I already showing you a quick sneak peek of what we're looking at. But here's a look at about 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Starting to get off work maybe a little bit early, or at least thinking about it, right? You've got a few of these pop-up showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm there in northwest Arkansas. As this cold front, there's a word we like to hear this time of year, is working its way off towards the south, where we could see some strong to severe thunderstorms, let's say closer towards that 6 p.m. hour for tomorrow. Along that leading edge is where you would find some damaging winds, some hail, but it's just that level 1 out of 5 marginal risk for tomorrow. The severe risk is definitely not very high, but it will come with the chance for some severe weather. And this is tomorrow at 6 p.m. We let this play through. Let's show you 7 o'clock. Now we start to work out of northwest Arkansas and into parts of the river valley. Here's a look at 7. Definitely extreme northwest Arkansas would be done with tomorrow, with the rainfall at least. And then across the river valley between 7, 8, 9 o'clock is where you could find some of those strong to severe thunderstorms for tomorrow. And I tell you what, this run of the model that we're showing you right now, this is the HRRR model. It's our shortest time frame model that we have. It's looking a little bit more impressive for tomorrow. So I'd say across the river valley between, let's say, 6 and 9 p.m. tomorrow could have some strong to severe thunderstorms on our doorstep. Of course, I show you that outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. Just to confirm with you, it's just that level 1 margin risk for tomorrow. Worst case scenario, we have winds up to 60 miles per hour, hail up to 1 inch in diameter. There is no tornado threat as of right now for tomorrow evening across northwest Arkansas or in the river valley. Let's take it back to Carroll County, where that severe thunderstorm warning continues as of right now. But you look at the severe thunderstorm warning as a whole when it stretches from southern Missouri, the state line with southern Missouri, and the next county line with Carroll. Most of the polygon is not severe anymore. This definitely needs some trimming from the National Weather Service, but they're the professionals over there, and they're probably just going to let this severe thunderstorm warning ride itself out. So Oak Grove to Green Forest, some rainfall right now, but at least the severe winds for the most part are done. You work south into Osage though, and that's where you're going to find some severe winds. We pull up velocity once again, and that's where you can see the severe winds definitely there in Harrison, but you focus here on Osage, and that's where you get, let's say, anywhere between 35 up to 45 mile per hour winds. You say, well, Stephen, that's not reaching the threshold for severe weather. I know, but it is still strong enough that they're going to hang on to this severe thunderstorm warning that expires here in the next 15 minutes or so. If there were to be another warning for this, more than likely it would not include parts of the 5 News viewing area, and we would go ahead and end this live stream. Of course, feel free to hop off this live stream whenever you feel like it if you're not in eastern Carroll County, but wherever that severe thunderstorm warning is, if it's in the 5 News viewing area, we want to give that vital information to them. Really focusing on 412 between, 412 runs up to Green Forest, you focus, or 412 runs south, between Carrollton and Osage. That's where the strongest winds are right now, especially, earlier we were talking about extreme northeastern Carroll County. Now it's extreme southeastern Carroll County is where those strongest winds are right now, which you see highlighted here is 30 up to 45 mile per winds is what we're sampling from that radar site there in Springfield. I doubt we're going to get a very good reading from the Fort Smith radar just because it's so far away and you have to travel through so much terrain to get there. That radar beam only reaches up so high, and we're getting definitely a different story. The Fort Smith radar site is only saying 15 to 20 miles per hour. I don't necessarily know if I completely believe that. We're looking all the way through the Boston Mountains for that reading, so more than likely getting some bad data there. You're joining us this evening on 5 News Plus, on YouTube, on Facebook. Thank you. If you're joining us here because you missed that 5:30 newscast, it's out of our control. Sorry about that. It was a good golf match as well. I went to 4 or 5 playoff rounds. So we well missed our newscast. Of course, you can join us at 10 p.m. this evening, or maybe just a little bit afterwards, because that golf match lasted a little bit too long. So maybe a little bit delayed for this evening. But of course, myself, Lauren Spencer, and Robin Hearn will have all that news, weather, and sports for you tonight at 10. Of course, go ahead and follow Lauren Spencer for us. She is our new weekend evening anchor. You've been following 5 News for a while. She's been our friend here for a while as well. All right, so we got some strong storms across Benton, northern Washington County, northern Madison County. You can start to see a little bit of an outflow there, some gusty winds reaching into Fayetteville, into, let's say, Huntsville area more than likely right now. And eventually down the line, we're going to see some of this heavy rainfall as well. Definitely, as we're looking at all our cameras that are spread out across 5 News area, totally different story from the Mercy camera there in Fort Smith. Looks gorgeous out there right now. And then you look at our Jack Link's camera there in Bentonville, and it is dark, gloomy, and heavy rainfall out there right now. Not that severe thunderstorm warning, and I doubt at this point we will see one across northwest Arkansas, because as we were following that line out of southern Missouri, you started to see some really good organization. And my fear is that while we got that warning there in Carroll County, maybe down the line, we could also see one for Benton, Washington, and Madison County. That's why we went ahead and got on here with the urgency that we did. But that's not the case. And we said as this moves south, more than likely, this is really going to start to fall apart. And that's what we're seeing play out here right now. Don't worry. Even after that warning there in Carroll County expires here in just about 15 minutes or so, we'll stay here just in case we see some resurgence when it comes to those severe thunderstorms. But I think for the most part, we're probably good. You're going to run into some rainfall. I-49, 412, wherever you're driving on this evening may not be fun to drive in northwest Arkansas, but at least the damaging wind threat or the large hail threat wouldn't be there. So that's the good trade-off that we have there. And again, anytime in late June and early July that we can get some rainfall, I tell you what, I will take it. It keeps us on the good report card with the drought monitor. Here's a look there at Alabama, Hinesville, and Huntsville. You're joining us there in northern Madison County out there this evening. Thank you for choosing us to get that weather coverage. Not a severe thunderstorm warning right now. If you did have one, more than likely you'd already hear it on your phones, or you're joining in with us, or you get that push alert from 5 News. Not severe right now. Heavy rainfall though between Clifty, Alabama, Huntsville, and Hinesville. There across 412, is where you're going to find a downpour of some rain. Now, hopefully, if this starts to fall apart, we could see some of those gusty winds. Of course, that would result in temperatures being a little bit cooler out there this evening. We work over to Washington County, at least northern Washington County, the shared county line there with Benton. Springdale seeing a heavy downpour of rain right now. Good news is the naturals don't come back until July 4th. And the Rodeo of the Ozarks is done. So Sunday night in Springdale, it's a washout, but at least the events that we had over the weekend and where we have every weekend with the naturals not in town out there this evening. Greenland, Prairie Grove, Elkins, maybe starting to feel some of those that wind coming out of the north, of course working towards the south, maybe a little gusty wind from these thunderstorms. That feels comfortable out there right now, but not seeing any of the rainfall. You may see that down the line, let's say next half hour to an hour or so. 412, not a fun drive right now. I-40 or Highway 71 between Fayetteville and Lowell, not a fun drive out there right now. That cross section between Springdale is where you find that heaviest rainfall for Washington County. The rest of the county, pretty good right now. Benton County, apologies to you. Not a fun Sunday evening so far between Decatur and Gravette, Gentry, Heifel, Bentonville, Rogers, Lowell, Pea Ridge. It's quiet out there right now, but earlier we had our reporter out there and she was reporting back dark clouds and heavy rain. That's a key sign for anybody that it's not about to be pretty there in Pea Ridge for a while. Now, shaping up to be okay. Either you're joining us there in Pea Ridge or Garfield out there this evening. Still some spotty activity over the next hour to 2 hours or so, but not crossing over the severe limits. Bella Vista, beautiful out there this time of year. It is very rainy out there right now. Hopefully we can see more of this rain for tomorrow and keep it looking nice there in Bella Vista, but of course not above that severe limit. That's the good news for us. And I doubt at this point, and I'll check in with the National Weather Service out of Tulsa, And I imagine what they're going to be saying is that these thunderstorms more than likely are weakening. Special weather statement, that's for eastern Oklahoma. You check this area forecast discussion, which anybody could check. Really, just keep reading that latest information they have for us. You might be able to hear it picking up on my mic right now. Our roof with the station, anytime it rains, anytime there's thunderstorms, it echoes across the whole building, sounds very loud. You can hear the rainfall start to come down briefly here in Johnson. It's more than likely, right, this is getting close towards our station is where we're going to see some of that rainfall coming down here pretty soon. Good news is my windows are rolled up outside. If anybody in the station's listening to me right now, here's your heads up. Go roll your windows up. National Weather Service not mentioning anything about these storms right now. Of course, they're talking about tomorrow already, though, with the storm potential that we have. So, good news is it is 6:36, and that severe thunderstorm warning in Carroll County has expired. Actually, I think it canceled a little bit early just because it's fallen below the severe limits. So let's recap things here before we go ahead and sign off. Some strong storms in northwest Arkansas, Benton, Carroll, Madison, and Washington County, but not severe. Winds right around 30 up to 50 miles per hour will be possible as these continue to push off towards the south. If that happens and it crosses over the severe limits, we will hop right back on here. But as of right now, no severe weather across northwest Arkansas, just very loud right now. It's a very heavy rainfall across the river valley. It is hot and muggy out there right now. As of right now, and that is going to wrap things up for us here when it comes to not having any of those severe thunderstorm warnings across northwest Arkansas, the river valley. And if things change, we will hop right back on here. So thanks for joining us. For 5 News, I'm meteorologist Stephen Elmore.